Shalom, y'all. Welcome to Hebraic Awakening. Man, I was without a voice for about a week, and I'm still, you know, not all the way well. I'm not quite sure if it's allergies, but that lasted for almost 2 weeks, so I've never had an allergy attack like that. So I don't know. But I'm trying to do videos, so if you hear me and I sound like my husband say I've been smoking cigarettes, that's fine. But I wanted to come on here because we are doing the Removing the Leaven series. As a matter of fact, ever since I said that very next day my voice went out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to let the enemy stop me. Let me just get this out. And I was asking the Most High, because we're removing the leaven. The Most High is showing, I'm sure all of us, things that we should be removing out of our lives, our hearts, our houses, etc. And I said, why are we as a people so fixated on the end times? Like, I'm not understanding why we as a people don't get that we have to learn your commandments, right? And we have to understand, how to live in 2025 by obeying your commandments and trying to learn what that means. Most of the people, they want end time events. They want to talk about what's going on with politics, and all of those things are not bad things, right? They're not bad things. But we have become very fanatical about it, especially in the Hebraic faith. And we are supposed to be the ones that have the wisdom so that the world can be like, oh, you're wise. Let us follow you and your Elohim. But that's not the case, right? The world is leading us and we are following the world. And if you look at, Torah, supposed to be Torah-based content, you don't see Torah. You see everything around Torah. You see our history, who we are as a people, the migration patterns, and so on. And that's all good because as a teacher, I love to be educated, right? I like knowledge. But there is a fine line that I have to draw in the sand when it comes to understanding the end times, because I'm only going to understand so much. I believe each generation is allotted a certain type of wisdom and understanding so that they can be wise and be helpers to their generation. So, everyone is believing we're going in the wilderness, this is the end of America, and we're so fixated on that. And I asked the Most High, why? Because once you get out of America and you go somewhere else, if you don't know Torah, you're still going to have the curses following you in your bloodline. And you know what he told me? It was so quick and swift. He said, because you all want to save yourself. You all want to bring salvation by your own hand. And I was like, I was not ready for that answer, right? Not that answer. And it was so quick. Usually it may take me days, it may take me a month, to hear that type of an answer. And he said it's so quick. You all want to bring salvation by your own hand. And so we do not trust the Most High to bring salvation to us in 2025, 2026, 2027, and so on. We want to bring salvation by our own hand. And we could say, but no, that's not true. But the Most High is watching what we watch, what we listen to, and how we act, and how we are not teaching the next generation. And I keep saying this, Passover, a lot of our children are checked out of Passover. Everybody doing line dances, showing off their outfits, everybody having a good time, and the kids running around. And when you ask them, you get them by themselves, do they understand Passover? They say no. And I'm like, that is a shame. And so right now, we want to bring salvation by our own hand. And this is why we this is why we are being confused about where the land is, about the language that we speak and everything, because we don't want to focus on Torah. We want to bring salvation by our own hand. And look, I have my pantry because it's always good to stock up just in case of a natural disaster. I live in North Carolina. Hello, somebody. Hurricane season will leave you without power and food and flood damage and so on. Okay, so it's always right to prepare. However, I'm not fixated on that, because let's just say the flood come and flood out all of my goods that I stored up, flood out my generator before I could even use it, just wreak havoc. A tornado could come through here, which we have a lot of, and wreak havoc. So I have to rely on the instructions of the Most High when He tells me what to do. Can I hear Him? Do I know His voice from my own voice? Can I tell the difference? And I'm like, it's going to leave a lot of people scrambling when it is time to make a move. Some of us are making a move too soon. Some of us refuse to make a move. Some of us just don't care. And it's like there's a balance with everything. But a lot of us are end time fanatics because we want to bring salvation by our own hand. So I'm going to let that sit, and some people, that they're not going to agree with that. I'm not asking nobody to agree with me, because I know what I asked the Most High, and I know what He said. And I was like, ooh, let me make sure that I get right, and let me make sure that I don't want to bring salvation by my own hand. He not going to tell me something that doesn't apply to me first. So I'm just sharing that, right? I'm going to let y'all sit with that. All right, shalom.